What's up, podcast fans? It's your buddy Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and this is a very special episode of the Million Pound Mission podcast. We're going to get to listen in as I do a one-on-one coaching session with one of my clients for my Transformation ReBoot program. And we're going to dive deep into the transformation danger zones and come out the other side with a clear action step to take so that they can continue making progress towards those awesome goals that they've set for themselves. Now, don't forget that right now, registration is open through the end of July, where you can do a free 10-day trial of the Transformation ReBoot program and reclaim control over your transformation. Now, let's dive into the episode. All right, Patty, welcome to your hot seat session, my friend. What would you like to focus on today?
Hey, Adam. I just finished up tax season, so as I was saying, it feels like New Year's Day to me. So it feels like I can just start everything brand new. And I think that's what I really have to do because it's been a rough few months.
Yeah.
Starting over.
Yeah. So you're an accountant. We just finished tax season. It's April 16th. It's to the accountant new year, like you said.
Right.
So basically, let's just start with kind of like damage control stuff, like just getting that foundation plugged in, get you reintegrated in the program here.
Yeah.
How bad are we? Like, let's look at like food and fitness first. So how are we like momentum wise with food, with fitness? What are the last few weeks especially look like?
Well, the last few weeks, as far as fitness, has pretty much been non-existent. The diet's there's been a few decent days, but mostly not so great.
Okay.
I feel like I'm pretty much at ground zero.
Okay. So I think this week, like we're talking on a Tuesday, I feel like the rest of this week, let's get the foundation in place. Like let's get your workbook mapped out. So we've got that. Let's get committed to with your nutrition. I want like the easiest plan for you to follow. So if there's like plan A, plan B, plan C, and you feel like plan A, you can do it like 90% effectiveness and plan B is 50% and plan C is 25%. We want to go with the one as the you feel like you can just knock out of the park and be very, very efficient and effective with, even if it's not like sometimes people feel like, oh, I need to do the hardest plan possible because I've been bad. And that's the exact opposite of what we want to do. We want to kind of ramp things up. So what would you say would be the plan you feel the most comfortable with and the plan you feel like you could be the most effective with right now?
Well, I did do my workbook, so I have thought this through.
Perfect.
About a week ago. And I thought that for the first couple of weeks, I just need to cut out sugar. And then maybe after that, cut out carbs and bread and some other things. But, and then probably just work back into the prime level 1. And maybe I like keto and I like the idea of being in ketosis. So I probably want to go down that route again, but take my time getting there. Yeah,
I like that. And we can kind of take a stair-step approach. I think maybe the remainder of this workbook, we do that elimination process. Like you said, we eliminate sugar, but be very specific because sometimes we're like, well, I'm going to cut out sugar, but I would like to see a list of exactly what you're aiming to cut out. Because sometimes we can be real general with that and be like, well, a little bit of Skittles here after, the dish at my table, that won't hurt anything. So like cutting out sugar specifically, what, make a list there. And then maybe go 1 to 2 weeks there and then make a similar list with carbs. So if you've been doing like pasta or bread or whatever, just really be as specific as possible of what we're going to eliminate that next 2 weeks. Really like the idea of doing the prime diet, level 1. That'll be a nice transition. And then bounce. If you feel good, maybe you do that 2 weeks, maybe you do it 4 weeks, you do a full 28-day cycle there, and then ramp you right back into the keto plan. I think that sounds good in theory. We'll see what life throws at you, but I feel like that's a solid ramp up. So that's excellent. Now, what about workout wise, like fitness wise? What's a solid start to a game plan there?
Well, my plan is to go to the gym twice a week and do some type of weights. And then I have a Peloton bike, so I want to use that and get on that a couple times a week. Okay. And then do some mobility work and get flexible. It's really, really stiff and a lot of pain lately.
Yeah. So being honest, like if you're feeling that way and you've gone through high stress. When we're coming out of high stress seasons, probably not sleeping as well, things like that, we're prone to, we're kind of setting ourselves up to be injured or have a lot of aches and pains. So I'd prioritize mobility. Like, think about, you've got the mobility boot camp loaded up in your course there. That's 10 minutes a day. I think that would be, for your workbook, maybe even use that as your daily habit tracker. So I did the mobility, invested 10 minutes in just taking care of my body, and just, again, viewing this next cycle as just ramping up. Like, we're just getting back into normal, healthy life now that tax season is done. And then I would set a goal for just either total amount of workouts or total like hours of sweating or whatever, whether it's the gym workouts, the Peloton bikes, whatever you think makes sense. Just set some sort of a goal, like standard of, and like, if you have normal life, it was 4 hours, then maybe this time we go with 3, because again, we're in ramp up mode. It's not straight from like tax season disaster mode to ideal. So we want a little bit of a buffer with this 28 days. And I mean, you know how I roll. I'm big on just kind of relaxed mindset. We're easing into things now, and I think your body will appreciate that. But I would definitely focus on mobility for sure. The elimination with the food is going to be really good. And then just be gentle as you ramp up, and especially in the weight room. Like, I don't want you going buck wild with, let's see how much we can do on this or whatever. Like, just, and if normally you do an hour session, maybe make it a 45-minute session. Just kind of ease your body back into it, because I don't want you to hit the brick wall of soreness and be yelling at me like, Adam, I can't move. What do I do? So how does that sound? Does that sound doable?
That sounds good.
Hey guys, just a really quick break in the action. I hope you're enjoying this episode so far. This is just a very quick reminder that my Transformation ReBoot program registration is currently open, and you can start your free 10-day trial anytime between now and the end of July. Now, once registration closes, you won't be able to get in until October. So do not delay. Start your free trial today. Head on over to millionpoundmission.com. Now, let's get back to the episode.
I'm working on a stand-up desk too.
Nice.
Sitting all this tax season has wore me out. My hips are really hurting. So my husband's going to make risers to put my computer desk on. So I'm going to try to shoot for at least half of the time standing.
Nice.
So do you have any experience with that?
Yes. Well, I build my own standing desk. This is like Adam's meathead version. I have all these weightlifting plates, these Olympic bumper plates. So I put my computer on top of those, and I stand and I type. Or if I'm at the gym, I stack like plyo boxes up, and I do the same thing. But no, I love that idea. I've been using a little device called a SoRite. It's spelled PSO-RITE. They're not that expensive. I hit them up on Instagram and they sent me one. So I'm like, I'm an influencer. You should send me one. And they're like, okay, yes. I love it when that works. But it's like a U-shaped thing. So it's like this, and you lay on it, and it jabs up into your psoas and your hips, which sounds like a lot of fun. And then you just breathe, and it's helped me a ton. I do it like if I do some podcast interviews or coaching sessions like this for an hour, then I'll go and I'll lay on that for a couple of minutes, and it's helped with my hips a ton, and my low back, no back spasms. So that might be something to consider. I mean, you just shut the door and close the window, so people aren't going like, what is Patty doing? Is she okay? But you can use it on your glutes. There's a whole like little video series on their Instagram page. It's pretty cool. So that's something to think about.
I'll check that out.
I'm pretty excited about it. And it's, it's not like something I'm selling or anything, but it's just something I'm using. And it's spelled with a P. It's so right. So that would be something that I would check out. I definitely think, again, just using this next cycle of kind of being kind to your body and just kind of saying, okay, we're going to baby step this so that we can ramp things up. What else? Do you have any like danger zones or anything coming up that you feel like travel, birthdays, events, anything like that?
Nothing really big like that. I think my danger zones are just trying to transition back to a regular schedule and being in restart mode again, just feeling like, here we go again, restart again. just kind of feeling a little bit, doubtful maybe about whether I can do it again.
Yeah. Well, I think a couple of things. So it's always good when we hit a big period of stress like this, like tax season for you, is to do a little just post stress analysis and say, okay, I did this. I kind of checked out, like, how can I make this a little bit better next time that tax season hits, so I don't have to be in this same position. So just make some notes with that. And maybe it's doing one workout a week, or maybe it's doing one coaching call with Adam a month, or just something to kind of keep you moving along instead of just going blinders are on and nothing else. So, just make some notes around that and some thoughts. That way, next time we'll ramp up a little more effectively. But also, I would suggest just trying to plug into the energy of the group. I mean, you know how awesome the community is, and let's hop on some of the weekly group calls and just kind of soak up some of that positive mojo going on, because it's really, really, it's unique. I mean, it's a very special group. It gets better and better every month as we add more people. So I would just kind of absorb some of that, and that'll help flip the switch mentally. And don't think of it as starting over or restarting. Just think about, like, we're just going from where you stand right now. We don't have to re-lose weight or anything like that. It's we've been working together long enough now that I know, we have some tools that we know work. We've got good results in the past, and now we just have to ramp back up gently into that position and then keep that momentum going. And then at the beginning of next year, as tax season starts to come in, I think that you and I can get our heads together around a better game plan and make sure that we, just end up in a little bit better position than we are this year. So,
right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. That sounds like it makes a lot of sense.
Cool. And I know, it's probably not something you want to think about right now, because you're just okay, I'm done with that mode. That's cool. Be there, feel that. But just know I'm going to make a mental note that, how, at what point in time do we need to start mapping this out? Is like January or earlier than that even?
Oh, probably earlier than that, because we're in the holidays and then we go right into tax season. There's really no good time.
Okay. So I'll just make a note, once the holidays hit, me and you need to get our heads together and just really we'll stick with our 28-day plan, but we also need to kind of just push it out to maybe like a quarter and say, all right, this is the direction we're going to go. We'll kind of just throttle back on the turbo boosters a little bit. But so maybe we move from 4 hours a week of working out to 2 hours to 1 hour, or to like 4 15-minute sessions or something like that. Okay. And we'll add some accountability around it. And I think that you'll be good. And then, and on that point, I would try to connect with an accountability buddy inside the group. But also, we've got challenge week coming up next week. And just dive in there, and sometimes just doing a thing and this like having a little bit of camaraderie. And we're doing, what are we doing? A brain food challenge. So it's like, listen to 10 minutes of a podcast or read a book for 10 minutes and then report into the group and say, hey, here's what I learned, or here's what I thought. And just kind of being a part of that helps kind of get the morale going a little bit. So that's a good momentum shifting tactic, as well as be a joiner, be a part of something.
Yeah, not just a lurker.
Yeah, no more lurking. Yeah, I know you accountants, you like to lurk and just and crunch numbers, but no. If I can teach you how to use technology like Skype and Zoom, we can get you out there doing some group challenges. But if you're not super comfortable with it, that's no big deal. But that's just, I think, like I said, being a part of a challenge or a little thing like that helps shift momentum for a lot of people. So I highly recommend it. All right.
Good.
Cool. Well, anything else you want to chat about real quick?
Nope. I think that's good.
All right.
So jump in the group.
You got your marching orders. We'll start off with some elimination of sugar. You're going to well define that for me. And we have a ramp up workout schedule, about 75% of what ideal would be, 50 to 75% with the hours and the effort and things like that. Mobility focus for 28 days. I would love that. And then, we'll be ready next time for the tax season a little bit better. All right.
Sounds good.
Well, hey there. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you are ready to reclaim control over your transformation momentum, then it's time to head on over to millionpoundmission.com and start your free 10-day trial of the Transformation ReBoot program today to get full access to our one-on-one hot seat coaching session, just like you heard with this episode. Now, with this program, you're going to get plugged into an amazing system of positive accountability, an incredible community of like-minded people, and you always have a rock-solid game plan to work from. So important, right? Now, speaking of important, momentum is precious, and I want to help you create continuous positive momentum towards your transformation goals starting today. This very moment can change everything for you. Now, registration will be closing at the end of July, and you won't be able to get in again until October when we launch a new group. So head on over to millionpoundmission.com and get all of the program details. Now, remember, the perfect time to reclaim control over your transformation is right now.